Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We're tackling something super practical today. Positive changes using Scott Pille's book, Change Your Habits, Change Your Life.
Yeah, it's like how can we tweak the little everyday things to be happier, more productive, you
Right.
know?
Exactly. Like, who wouldn't want that? And get this, the subtitle is 30 Small Changes You Can Make Right Now That Take 5 minutes or less and Live the Life You Want.
5 minutes or less. I like the sound of that already.
It's all about small steps.
Yeah.
So the book starts off by showing us, like, the nuts and bolts of how habits form.
Uh-huh. Got to have that foundation, right, before you can build anything on top of it.
Totally. And then it gets into the routines and triggers that go with those habits.
So it's personalized. Helps you figure out what actually works because, like, we're all different, right?
Yeah, no cookie cutter solutions.
hmm
And then, of course, it goes into those 30 specific changes, quick and easy, just like we like it.
Okay, so before we get to the changes themselves, what are those pillars of habit change that the book talks about?
Oh, good point. Well, it's all about first recognizing those not so good habits, then making a plan to, switch things up, and finally holding yourself accountable.
Accountability is huge, EE. It's like having a buddy system for your goals or something.
Yeah. And the book actually suggests using a diary or app to track your progress.
Yeah.
It's all about staying organized and seeing how far you've come,
Yeah.
you know.
Totally. Structure and those little wins along the way, that's important stuff. And speaking of noticing things, the book also emphasizes mindfulness, being aware of what you're doing throughout the day.
Oh, that's interesting. Like shining a light on those automatic actions so you can be like, wait a minute, this isn't helping me.
Exactly. So the book actually tells this story about Katie. She used to overeat when she was feeling like rejected.
Oh, wow. I know that feeling. Makes you think about your own triggers, doesn't it?
Big time. And once you know what your triggers are, you can start swapping those automatic kind of negative reactions for positive ones.
Right. So instead of reaching for that bag of chips when you're stressed, maybe you take 5 minutes to meditate or go for a quick walk.
Exactly, breaking the pattern.
Hmm.
Which brings us to trying out different habit routines, experimenting.
The book had this fun example of replacing some of your coffees with water. Small change, but I bet it makes a difference.
Yeah, small changes can be surprisingly powerful. There was also the one about taking a different route home from work just to shake things up a bit.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so are we ready to dive into some of those 35-minute changes? The book breaks them down by category, which is pretty helpful.
Let's do it. And maybe we can focus on a few from each category that would really resonate with, our listeners.
Awesome. Okay, for productivity, what about we start with the quiet time idea?
Ooh, yeah. Setting aside some time each morning where it's just you, no distractions, to really focus on those important tasks. I mean, can you imagine what you could get done with that kind of energy?
I'm already feeling more productive.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for relationships, I was super intrigued by that whole active listening thing.
Active listening is all about, really tuning into what the other person is saying, no judgment,
Yeah.
even if it's just for a few minutes. The book talks about how transformative that can be for your connections with others.
Yeah, putting aside your own thoughts, that can be hard. Okay, now for finances, get this. The book says that cleaning out your closet can actually help you reach your money goals.
Really? I'm intrigued.
It's true. You can sell things you don't use anymore. Plus, decluttering can change your mindset about money too, according to the book.
Huh. Who knew tidying up could be so financially savvy? Okay, what about for spirituality and, well-being? Mindfulness seemed to be a big theme there.
Definitely. Just taking 5 minutes to focus on your breath, really be present in the moment, no judgment.
Those little breaks can be so powerful for calming your mind.
Right. And breaking those negative thought patterns we all get stuck in sometimes.
Okay, what about health and fitness? Anything jump out at you there?
Well, the book really stressed the importance of getting enough sleep. Even just 5 more minutes can make a difference.
Ugh, tell me about it. When I don't get enough sleep, I'm a total grump.
And of course, no Change Your Life book would be complete without talking about exercise.
Right. But it's not about, forcing yourself to do something you hate. It's about finding activities you enjoy and making them part of your day,
Yeah.
even if it's just for 5 minutes.
So true. Like a quick walk or, putting on some music and dancing around the living room.
Exactly. Make it fun. Make it yours. Okay, last but not least, leisure. What
Yeah.
stood out to you in that category?
I loved how the book talked about making time for things that bring you joy, things that really recharge you.
Yes, like reading, spending time in nature, anything that makes you feel good.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
when you feel good, you can handle anything life throws at you.
Ah.
And I think that brings us to one of the book's key takeaways. You can change your life one small step at a time. But it's about being patient with yourself, you know? The book really stressed that. And it emphasized learning from those slip-ups, not seeing them as failures.
Well, absolutely. It's a journey. Ups and downs, the whole shebang. Progress isn't always a straight line.
So true.
So, as we head into part two, think about what's resonated with you so far. Which of these small changes feel most inspiring to you? Welcome back. We're continuing our deep dive into change your habits, change your life. We've already gone over like the basics of habit change and some of those cool 5-minute changes that can make a big impact. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of, making those changes last.
Let's do it. One thing that really jumped out at me was the whole idea of like self-forgiveness, especially when you slip up. It's so easy to get discouraged and just want to give up, you know?
Oh, totally. The book talks about seeing those slip-ups not as failures, but as chances to like learn and adjust.
So like if you're trying to eat healthier and you reach for that cookie instead of the fruit, it's not the end of the world.
Right. Just notice it, figure out what happened, and get back on track.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not just about willpower. It's about understanding why you have those habits in the first place.
Exactly. The book suggests taking some time to really think about those root causes. Could be stress, boredom, I don't know, all sorts of things.
And once you've like identified those causes, the book talks about actually dealing with the real problems.
Right. Instead of just covering them up with those unhealthy habits.
That's deep. So it's not just about changing habits, it's about personal growth too.
It is. And the book has all these stories of people who've like overcome these challenges and changed their lives.
It's inspiring. Okay, so what about goal setting? I know the book talks about writing down your goals. I've heard that before.
Yeah, there's something about putting it on paper that makes it more real.
Right. But the book says it's got to be small, achievable goals. Right.
Yes. Those baby steps are key. It's about breaking down those big, scary goals into smaller, manageable ones.
So instead of saying, I want to lose 50 pounds, maybe you start with, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes every day.
Exactly. And as you hit those little milestones, you gain momentum and confidence.
And then those bigger goals don't seem so impossible.
Right. Oh, and the book also talks about having a buddy on this journey, someone to like cheer you on and keep you accountable.
Oh, I like that. Like a cheerleader for your goals.
Exactly. It could be a friend, a therapist, even an online community.
Someone who gets it and wants to see you succeed.
And speaking of success, the book also talks about setting realistic timelines. Change takes time, right?
Absolutely. This isn't about overnight transformations.
Nope. The book stresses patience and consistency. It takes time to, like, rewire those habits.
So true. Don't get discouraged if you don't see results right away.
Yeah, stick with it. And lastly, be kind to yourself on this journey.
Mistakes are going to happen.
Yeah.
See them as chances to learn.
Exactly. So with these practical tips and, like, a positive mindset, you can create some real lasting change in your life.
Before we go to the final part of this deep dive, take a minute to think about what's resonating with you. What strategies feel most compelling? What insights are you excited to try out on your own habit-changing journey? Right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. Change your habits, change your life. We've really been digging into it.
So much good stuff, right? We talked about how those habits form, those 5-minute changes, all that. But, as I was reading, I kept thinking it's not just about the individual habits. It's like the whole picture, the life you're creating.
Yeah, totally. It's almost like taking a step back and being like, okay, what kind of life do I actually want? And then using those habits to like build it piece by piece.
Right. Like maybe you want to be more productive so you can finally write that book you've always dreamed of. Or maybe it's about like really connecting with the people you love, stronger relationships.
Or maybe getting your finances in order so you're not stressed all the time.
Exactly. So it's using those small actions every day to create a life that, feels good and reflects your values.
It's like you're designing your life. So cool.
So as we wrap up, I wanted to leave you with one last thing from the book. Something to think about.
Okay, I'm ready.
It talks about how we do so much on autopilot, right? Those habits we don't even think about.
Yeah, like brushing your teeth. You just do it.
Exactly. But what if, just for one day, you were super aware of everything you did, those little habits?
Like a habit detective.
Yeah. Just noticing, no judgment. What do you think you'd discover?
That's a good question. Probably a lot more than I realized, right? How those tiny things shape my day.
And once you're aware, you can start making different choices, those small changes that add up over time.
So it all starts with awareness.
It really does.
Right.
So as you go about your day, remember that, Be curious, see the possibilities.
Change doesn't have to be huge and scary. It can be those little 5-minute tweaks building a happier, more fulfilling you.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you're feeling inspired to create the life you want.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep on diving deep.